Shalom, shalom. Happy Sabbath, and welcome to part 2 of our study called Saved by Grace. Okay? Let's not waste no time. Let's continue. Let's pick it up right in Exodus chapter 4 and verse 21. And the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest to return unto Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. Verse 22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. Verse 23. And I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refusest to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. So we see and we know that the Most High God killed all the firstborn in Egypt when Pharaoh and the Egyptians refused to let our people go at that time. Okay? Jesus, aka Lucifer, ain't never did anything like that for the Christians. So how can Christians know that he is even capable of doing anything like that, because he never did anything like that before? Okay? He ain't never did nothing like that for them. He ain't never bring them any kind of salvation or anything like that before. Okay? How do they know that he's capable of doing that? That is not his MO. Okay? Jesus Christ, aka Lucifer, will take a beat down and say that because he took a beating, you Christians are saved. And that is how he is going to save Christians. That's the only way that they know that he will, that he would do anything, is that he dies for them. That's it. Okay? But they don't know if he is capable of doing anything other than that, because all he has done so far is make promises and have not kept any of those promises. Okay? But the Most High God, his MO is he will kill people and deliver his people. That's his MO. That's what he's going to do again. Okay? The motive of operation. That's what he do. The Most High, our God, don't operate the way Jesus operate, okay? The Most High, our God, he don't take beat downs. He dishes out beatings, okay, in order to deliver us or to save us. He don't take beatings. He gives the beatings, okay? The Most High, our God, will beat the hell out of our enemies and force them to let us go. Or else he will kill them all. That is how our God operates. He don't operate like Jesus. Jesus Christ, aka Lucifer, don't operate the way the Most High, our God, operates. Okay? Jesus operating for Christians. Okay? He have to take a beating and he had to shed his own blood in order to save them. And they are still not saved, okay? Even after all the beating, okay? He did all of that they can only think that they are saved in their minds. It is a spiritual thing only, because they walk around saying that they are saved right now. How dumb and how confused are those people, those Christians. Okay? That is done. So let's talk about when the Most High God delivered our people. Okay, when we crossed the Red Sea. Okay, let's go to Exodus chapter 14 and verse 5. And it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and his servants were turned against the people. And they said, why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from us? Verse 6. And they made ready his chariot. Exodus chapter 14 and verse 6. And he made ready his chariot and took his people with him. Verse 7. And he took 600 chosen chariots, all the chariots of Egypt, and captains over every one of them. Verse 8. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel. And the children of Israel went out with a high hand. Verse 9. But the Egyptians pursued after them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them encamping by the sea beside Pi-Hahiroth before Baal-Zephon. Verse 10. And Pharaoh, and when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. Verse 11. Exodus chapter 14 and verse 11. And they said unto Moses, because there was no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us to carry us out of Egypt? Verse 12. Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. Verse 13. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Most High. See the salvation of the Lord. Okay, you see that? Which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see no more again. You shall see them again no more forever. And we haven't seen them because those people over there, those Egyptians were black, dark skinned, darker than us. Now the Egyptians are way lighter and different. Okay, they're not the same Egyptians. We ain't seen them forever again. Just like the Most High told Moses to tell us. Exodus chapter 14 and verse 14. The Lord shall fight for you. Say that again. The Lord shall fight. The Most High shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Verse 15. And the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. But lift up thy rod and stretch out thy hand over the sea and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. Verse 17. And behold, I will harden the heart of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them, and I will get my honor upon Pharaoh and upon his host, upon his chariots and upon his horsemen. Verse 18. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, not Jesus, I am the Lord, and when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots and upon his horsemen. Verse 19, the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them, and the pillar of cloud and the pillar of cloud went before their faces and stood behind them. Verse 20, and it came to pass, and it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all night. Verse 21, Exodus chapter 14 and verse 21. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. Verse 22. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Verse 23. And the Egyptians pursued and went after them in the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. Verse 24. And it came to pass that in the morning watch the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians. Verse 25. And the Lord took off the chariot wheels that they drave them heavenly, so that the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians. Verse 26. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots and upon their horsemen. Verse 27. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength. When the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it, and the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. Verse 28. And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh that came unto the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. Verse 29. But the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Verse 30. And the Lord saved Israel. The Lord did what? Saved Israel. The Lord did what? Saved Israel, not Christians, that day out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. Jesus ain't never did nothing like this. Okay? Exodus chapter 14 and verse 31. And Israel saw that great work which the Lord did upon the Egyptians, and the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses. So right here you can see that the Most High God saved the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, not Christians, not Gentiles. So how can Christians claim salvation when the Most High God haven't said that he will save them? Okay, because if the Most High God don't say it, if the Most High God don't say it, that he's going to save them, it's not going to happen. Okay? If the Most High God don't say a thing is going to come to pass, then that thing is not going to come to pass. Even if a man like Paul or Jesus or Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, whoever, even if they say it, if the Most High God don't say a thing is going to come to pass, then it's not going to come to pass. Let's document that statement, okay? Lamentations chapter 3 and verse 37. Who is he that saith it come to pass when the Lord, the Most High God, commanded it not? If the Most High God has said that a thing is going to come to pass, and it's going to come to pass. If he has not said it's going to come to pass, who can say it's going to come to pass and it still come to pass? Nobody can. Who is going to say something is going to happen when the Most High God of Israel have not commanded that thing to happen? The answer to that is nobody. Not Jesus, not Paul, not nobody. If the Most High God didn't say it, it's not going to come to pass. So even if Peter, Paul, John, Jesus, whoever, okay, the Christians, even if they say that they are saved by grace, if the Most High didn't say it, the Christians are not saved by grace. Christians will not be saved by grace, neither are they saved by grace right now. So what does that mean? It means that the New Testament be telling lies, and Christians are not saved by grace. They are lying. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 39. See now that this is the Most High God saying this to Moses, even I am he, and there is no God with me. God meaning little g. There's no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So how can you say you're saved by grace when the Most High God said he the one who do all the killing and everything, and nobody can save you? Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 40. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. Verse 41. If I whet my sword, if I make my sword ready, sharpen my sword, my glittering sword, sharpen it, get it ready to do damage, to bring judgment. If you are serving Lucifer, aka Jesus Christ, how are you loving the Most High God? When the Most High God said that you shall have no other God beside me, the Most High God said loud and clear, there is none else. There is none beside me. There is none with me. There's none, okay? But Christians can't hear that. They still keep preaching that they are saved by grace, which is a big fat Christian lie. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 32 and verse 41. If I whet my glittering sword and my hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies, and I will reward them that hate me. Y'all hate the Most High God, and that includes all Christians. So he's going to bring his sword upon y'all. Verse 42. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh. And that with the blood of the slain and the captives from the beginning of revenges upon the enemy. Verse 43. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to his adversaries, and will be merciful unto his land and to his people. Not Christians, but his people. Christians are not the Most High God's people. They are Lucifer's people. Okay? The Most High God's people are Israel. Israel only is the Most High God's people. Only the Hebrew Israelites are the Most High God's people, not Christians. Christians are Lucifer's people. Okay? That is why his name is within their name. Christians. Christians. Okay? That's what they are. Christians. The Most High, our God, promised us blessings for our obedience, but he also promised us curses for our disobedience. Okay? Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass that if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations. Right there, that's a promise from the Most High God that if we obey his commandments, that he will set us above all nations, not equal with nations, but above all nations. Now let's read the curses for disobedience. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass that if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and shall overtake thee. And one of the curses that the Most High God will put on our people, the children of Israel, will be that we will go back into bondage. Excuse me. One of the curses is that we will go back into bondage, aka captivity or slavery, on ships, cargo slave ships, and be spread all throughout the world, lose our heritage, lose our identity. All of these things happen. You know it's talking about us. Okay? Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 58. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, the New Testament, the Old Testament, this book, the Old Testament, this book, not that new book, this book, that thou mayest fear the glorious and fearful name of the Lord thy God. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. The Lord God, thy God shall bring thee into Egypt again. This new Egypt, America, and all over the world, right? Egypt again with ships, cargo slave ships. By the way thereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there thou shalt be sold. Thou shalt be what? Sold. You see that? Sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, meaning nobody is going to be able to redeem you and deliver you and save you. It's going to be only by the hand of the Most High God. When he said no man shall buy you, it means nobody will be able to redeem you. Nobody will be able to save you, to save us out of this situation. Nobody will be able to deliver us from these curses, but the Most High God only. He is our only Savior, and he is our only Redeemer. Nobody else, not Jesus, not Lucifer. Okay? Deuteronomy 30 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass that when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curses, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy God has driven thee. Verse 2. And shalt return unto the Lord thy God. This is what we got to do. Return unto the Lord thy God. Okay? Because even though he brought all of these things on us, he promised to deliver us. We are saved by grace, not Christians. And you're reading about it right now. Watch this. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 2. Because the Most High God don't have to do this. But we are saved by grace. Christians, they say they're saved right now. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 2. And thou shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt observe his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Verse 3. That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity. You see that? He will turn. He's going to deliver us from this captivity that we're in right now. Turn thy captivity and have compassion. Saved by grace, right there. Compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God has scattered thee. Verse 6. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart. So he's going to cause us to remember his laws and stuff. He's going to cause us to remember it. Circumcise thy heart, your mind, okay? And the heart of thy seed, your children, to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all your mind and everything within you, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live, so that we not die again, okay? That's a real promise. That promise that Jesus made is garbage. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. And this will conclude this study, saved by grace. So this will be the last verse. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thy enemies and upon them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Okay? They're not going to be saved with us. That's a lie. They're not saved by grace. Because the Most High going to put all these curses on them. Christians and heathen and Gentiles and the cattle. Okay? This is what their future is. All these curses are going to be put on them. And only Israel is saved by grace. And with that, until the next video, I'm going to say shalom.